Three things that we learned from the Anzac Day match. Let's get into it. Again, I'm always going to do this just quickly. If you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as well. It would mean the absolute world to me, but I won't go on any more about it. Let's get into lessons learned. So there could be a lot of lessons learned from this game, but I've narrowed it down to sort of three that I do want to talk about. The first one is Harvey Harrison is a jet. He was on the ground for 25% of the time. He was obviously subbed on for Tom Mitchell, who was subbed off. And I liked everything about him. Kicked a really important goal. No tackles, but his chase was really good. His forward sort of defense was really good as well, forward pressure. I like the look of him. I've always liked Harvey Harrison. He's been smashing it in the VFL as well. Craig McRae a couple of weeks ago said there's just not really a spot for him at the moment with Reef, Lockie Schultz, Elliott, Bobby Hill, Bo McCreary, all in that team, all sort of vying for that position. But with Reef McGuinness coming out of the team, they put Harvey Harrison as the sub. I'd love to see him play a full game. The thing with these young kids, and Finn McRae's the same, Reef McGuinness is the same. Reef's played a couple of full games or thereabouts. They are the future, right? And Carlton do it well with their young kids. Geelong as well. Sydney, kind of. The Bombers, I know they're not, they haven't been premiership contention for a while, so they could get those young kids up. But we have got aging legs, aging bodies, so we need to get a lot of game time into these kids, and one quarter here and there isn't going to cut it. Just look at Finn McRae, and I know what you're going to say. We gave him that start, and he didn't really do much with it. You have to sort of persevere. So I hope that in games like North Melbourne, I was going to say West Coast, but they're actually doing not too bad, West Coast, at the moment. But, a game like West Coast or something like that, give Harvey Harrison a full game, give Finn McRae a full game, Reef McGuinness. I'm not saying give 6 kids debuts and give them full games, but they need to start playing it at AFL level because Finn McRae is too good for VFL. Harvey Harrison's too good for the VFL at the moment. So we need to start exposing them to high-level football because when these older players do retire, who's going to come in for them? And we haven't been drafting a lot. I know, the President Brown has said, Jeff Brown has said that we're going to sort of top up like Geelong do, but you still need those kids to come through. Unfortunately, we just haven't had a lot of those draft picks, and we've had to give up a lot for Nick Dacos and sort of on all these other players. Ollie Henry obviously didn't work out, and a couple of others. So when you see like the likes of Harvey Harrison having more of an impact than Steele Sidebottom in the game, I know he played 50% less time than Steele Sidebottom. It kind of starts saying something. So I love Harvey Harrison, love what he's done. I want him to see him play maybe a full game against Carlton, but I just don't know who comes out for him, so he'll probably be the sub again. But yeah, the first lesson, Harvey Harrison, absolute jet. The second lesson is that we're our own worst enemy. For 2 weeks in a row, we've had bad kicking, bad disposal efficiency, bad shots at goal. Last week against Port Adelaide, we kicked, 21 points, and this week we weren't any better, missing lots of simple shots at goal. Billy Frampton's one, Will Hoskin-Elliott's, Brody Myercheck. These ones that are bread and butter for a lot of people just weren't hitting them. We were one goal for, well, I think might have been worse than that at the start of the game. It might have been a little bit worse than that. But I remember looking up at the scoreboard at one stage, we were like 1-4 for chances that we should have converted. And that's where you keep missing those chances. That's where that pressure comes from. And that's when you start sort of going back into your shell. And that's where Essendon sort of got out on top of us. Leading in from that, being our own worst enemies, for 2 weeks straight, we have just given up a fast start. The game, it's excusable if it's happening in the third quarter where Essendon kicked the first 4 goals or Port Adelaide kicked the first 5 goals or whatever it may be. Okay, excusable. After halftime, you're probably spent from the first half and they're trying to just get back into it. It's inexcusable to have it happen right at the start of the game. Essendon kicked 3 goals before we even had a chance to freaking breathe. Like, do you understand? Like, that's That's crazy, right? It's insane for that. And I think we didn't even have 12 disposals before Essendon kicked those 3 goals. They were just bang out of the centre, bang, bang, bang. And the other thing about being our own worst enemy is that we knew that Essendon were really good at stoppages, and we just didn't stop them. We just couldn't stop them. And we would have been practicing this. We just let them walk around and do what they wanted to do, especially in that last quarter. I think it was, is pathetic a strong word? No, I'm not gonna. No, it wasn't pathetic. It was just disappointing, right? When in high school and stuff, and the teacher would say, Luke, he's so smart. The teacher would say to my parents in the parent teacher interview, Luke is so smart, but he just doesn't apply himself. And mum would say that she's not upset, she's not angry, she's just disappointed. And that's how I feel at the moment with the Pies. Awesome that we got a draw. We haven't lost a game in 4 weeks, but we could have won that game easily. I'm just disappointed. The third thing that we learned is that draws are good for football. Like, I love a draw. It really builds up the climax of the game. And you've probably seen that video of me and Dad sort of spell, that last, I think it was like the last minute of game time. Langford misses that goal. We haven't scored since the 13-minute mark of that 4th quarter. And that game deserved a draw. It was just phenomenal. It was a phenomenal game. Both teams could have won it. Both teams could have lost it. And I think a draw was just what that game needed. If we had won that, we would have stole it. If Essendon won that, they probably would have stole it as well. I think the draw is what we needed. I don't want to see golden point or 5 minutes aside, 5 minutes a quarter, which doesn't even work anyway in my head. So no golden point, none of this, none of that. Leave the draws as they are. Stop changing the game. Of course, in finals, the draws need to be, you need a victor in finals, and that goes back to the Collingwood West Coast game where we drew and then we needed to play extra quarters or whatever it was. So that's totally fine, obviously. But draws during the season need to happen. Let it happen. We don't need a victor. We don't need a winner, and we don't need a loser. 2 teams played their guts out. That was the result. That's it. And I love the draw. But look, they're my 3 lessons learned. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with them? Do you not agree with them? What are your lessons learned? But until then, like, comment, subscribe, Tay family, Tay friends, Tay pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.